Alright, so I don't follow boxing, but my student asked me about what I thought about Manny Pacquiao. Made a video about that, and then we started talking about Mayweather. I made a video about Mayweather, and in my opinion, Mayweather is one of the best boxers of all time. A master, he's undefeated, and I thought that it was just him and Rocky Marciano that were undefeated. But then, I started to look into other boxers as far as like, who's considered really great. And then there's other boxers that I found out about that I think are very talented. One of them is Sugar Ray Leonard. He only lost 3 times, and I saw some videos with him, and I like the way that he moves. Obviously, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I was researching and just finding out what their winning streaks were. So I thought that Mayweather was the only one that's undefeated, in addition to Rocky Marciano. But then I was interested. I just typed in today. I was interested to see who had the longest winning streak out of anyone, and this is what popped up. Who popped up was Julio Cesar Chavez. Never heard about this person, but basically, he's a Mexican boxer, and his record, he had an 87 winning streak, 87 wins, 0 losses, and then he got his first draw after that, and then he was 89-0 with 1 draw before he ended up losing. So this guy won 87 fights in a row. Happened in 1993. From the time period of 1980 to 1993. He won 87 matches in a row. Okay, his overall record is a total of 115 fights, 107 wins, 86 by knockout, 6 losses, and 2 draws. So this person is highly, highly talented. Said Chavez was known for his outstanding punching power, devastating body attack, remarkably strong chin, and the relentless stalking of his opponents. He ranks number 24 on ESPN's list of 50 greatest boxers of all time. So he also has a father of a middleweight champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So it's very similar to like Floyd Mayweather Sr. and then Floyd Mayweather Jr. Father and son, working together to dominate the boxing industry. Now, I tried to look up to some videos on this guy, and there's really not much, because I don't want to watch the full fight. I just want to see the highlights, and there's barely anything, and it's just kind of surprising to me. It's like, how come there's not that many videos with this guy, and how come he's not a big name that everybody knows? I mean, everybody knows about Mike Tyson, everybody knows about Muhammad Ali, everybody knows about Mayweather, people know about Pacquiao, but how come, people know about De La Hoya, I know he's popular, but how come I don't really hear about this guy? I don't know the situation of why, but maybe because he's Mexican, and maybe because America doesn't want to promote Mexico, and they just want to kind of back up their American boxers and promote their American boxers, like they don't want to promote Mexican boxers. Maybe it seems like that some of these Mexican boxers are not given as much credit as they should deserve for their level of skill. There's a lot of Hispanic boxers that I've seen that are very talented. Some of these people have fought Mayweather and Pacquiao, and these people. One thing I noticed is that like the Hispanics, it's like they're very strong in the boxing in the sport is dominated by Hispanics and blacks. It seems like you don't really see that many extremely talented Caucasian boxers. From what I know, I think Ricky Hatton was considered one of the best Caucasian boxers, and he had a very long winning streak as well. But then he ended up getting beaten by Floyd Mayweather. But there's really not that many really talented Caucasian boxers. But there's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of Hispanic boxers that have been very successful, and it's just interesting, to see this sport and the history and how many people have tried to become one of the greatest. And 87 wins in a row. Mayweather has 49 now. 87. That's a lot. That's a lot of wins. So there's got to be a lot to learn from this person. In a way, maybe he might be considered one of the greatest to win 87 times in a row, because if he would have retired, then he would have been 87-0. But he just kept going, and then he started losing. And a lot of times it's like people just retire early so they could keep their record clean. And maybe that's what Mayweather's doing, just to kind of keep his record clean, because if he tries to win 88 times in a row and beat Chávez, it's going to be unlikely, because there's a lot of fights that he has to win. So it just shows, like, because boxing's been around for so long, it just shows like how much talent is there. Like, there's like so many good boxers out there, and everybody kind of has like their style of boxing. But even though he won 87 times, the way that I seen him box, I don't really like his style. Like, his style is too aggressive. Like, it's more like, I'm just gonna come knock you out. I like Mayweather's style. He's just more fluid, and he uses more defensive tactics. But this guy's more like a brawler, kind of like a Pacquiao, more of a brawler. And another person that was really good too, who won a lot, was Durant. So I found out about him too. Roberto Durant is his name, and he was, considered one of the best, and then he ended up fighting Sugar Ray Leonard. I think Sugar Ray Leonard was undefeated at that time, and then he fought Roberto Durant, and then Durant beat him, and then they had a rematch, and then Sugar Ray Leonard won, and then they fought again, and then Sugar Ray Leonard won again. But Durant, I think he has over 100 matches logged, so he's another one that's extremely talented too. So there's just a lot of people, and like I brought up Roberto Durant because I saw him fighting, like a highlight of him fighting Leonard, and he's another one that's very aggressive, like just very like a brawler. So there's certain boxers that are just brawlers. Like, you got like Durant, who's like a brawler, Pacquiao, who's like a brawler, Mike Tyson, who's like a brawler, and you got like people like Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali and Mayweather, who are more defensive, more fluid. Muhammad Ali would say, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Like, that's the type of style that I like. The brawling type, is too aggressive for me. But at the same time, you see this person, Chávez, showing a lot of success in the way that he boxed, winning 87 times in a row. So If he would have retired at 87 times in a row, then he would have been 87-0 compared to Mayweather's 49-0. So essentially, if you just judge it by the numbers, Chavez would be considered above Mayweather as far as a winning streak is concerned. And that definitely deserves recognition for, his accomplishments. And I just wanted to give my props to him, because winning 87 times in a professional sport is a huge deal. And then here, you had that Ronda Rousey woman that just won 12 times in a row, and then they hyped her up like she's the best in the world, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this person won 87 times in a row. And boxing, I really respect that sport. It's been around for a long time. The level of skill and what they could do is phenomenal. If you think about it, in the past, they used to go 15 rounds. 3 minutes for each round for 15 rounds. Now they go 12 rounds for 3 minutes. It requires a lot more cardio endurance, a lot more athleticism to last that long. They got bigger gloves on too, which kind of weighs them down, and they still got to go that long. But then you got the cage fighters; they only go 3 rounds, if that, and it's only 5 minutes each round. Okay, so these boxers have been around. The sport has been around for a while. There's a lot of people, like millions of people, that try to become the best, and then you see the few that actually make a name for themselves. And these people, in order to build a name for themselves, they got to win like around 30 times in a row, and then 40 times in a row, in order to even get recognized. But something like cage fighting, it's absolutely ridiculous for somebody just to win like a couple times and all of a sudden he thinks he's the best in the world. No, boxers prove themselves over and over again in that ring. It's an extremely dangerous sport, though. Just seeing these people getting hit so hard, it's you start to cringe. You feel bad for these people. Like I saw a fight with Tyson when he was fighting Lennox Lewis, and Lennox Lewis was just kept tagging him and tagging him and tagging him, because Lennox Lewis was so much taller than him. He just kept pounding on him, and I felt bad for Tyson, And then I saw the fight with Muhammad Ali and one of the guys that he fought towards the end of his career, and the guy just kept destroying him, and it was just sad to see that. It looked like he was gonna die in the ring or something. I mean, these boxers, when they're not fighting back and they keep taking these heavy hits, it's very dangerous. You see it and you're like, man, like, you feel bad, like, man, like, they need to stop. I mean, it's not even a contest anymore. It's not even a competition. And they hit each other so hard over and over and over again. These people that are in this type of sport, I mean, it's clearly not healthy. It's not artistic. It's brutal. It's brutal, and they go through a lot of suffering and pain, and I don't promote it, but at the same time, I recognize their level of skill and what they could do, and like I said, I wanted to make the video about this guy because I never knew about him before, but just to mention this guy, he deserves recognition. He won 87 times in a row. Then he got a draw. He won 2 more times, and he was 89, and then he had a draw, and then he finally lost. So this person's record is just absolutely amazing to be able to do this in a professional setting, and I just don't understand why his name is not really mentioned much. Maybe, like I said, maybe because he's Mexican and America doesn't want to give recognition to people that are not American. Maybe that's the case. I don't know what the case is, but He's considered the greatest Mexican boxer of all time. They gave him that recognition. But when they compare him to, I mean, I don't understand. They keep talking about Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, but then this guy right here, he wins 87 times, and then nobody even brings up his name. To me, that doesn't really make sense. It's like, here you got a person who won 87 times, but then you don't even mention his name. And they even they mention Rocky Marciano a lot, or he's the only person to ever be undefeated, 49-0, and then he dies in a plane, or whatever the case may be. But this person won 87 times, and then you don't even mention his name. What about that? That's beyond 49 times. This person won 87, and nobody talks about him. They keep talking about Marciano. Was it because Marciano is Caucasian, and because he's American? Is it that why? Is that the reason why people keep talking about him but not this guy? So like I said, there's a lot of Hispanic boxers out there that are extremely talented that give the American boxers a huge challenge. And these people come out of nowhere. You don't know who they are, and all of a sudden they just go in the ring and start demolishing people. And that definitely that's definitely something where I see that going on. It's almost like in a way, it's almost like a discrimination. It seems like against people that are non-American that fight against American boxers. It's almost like they purposely don't give these people attention because they're not American. That's kind of what it seems like. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't follow boxing that much, and I don't know exactly what's going on. But this is something worth looking into to kind of do your research to figure out, to kind of really study the people that have really pretty much perfected a certain craft. And another interesting thing is this person, they said he weighs 146 pounds and he's 5'7". That's pretty much around me, my size. I mean, that's like, I'm 5'5", I weigh about 145, so he's like pretty much my size. And he's in there just demolishing people in the boxing ring. So that's another thing that's interesting. But yeah, that's what I want to mention. And people can check the link below to read up more on this guy if they're interested.